Hello everyone, this is Mr. Rogers, and this is a demonstration on how to build a chaser circuit in Tinkercad, and we're working with the microcontroller called Arduino. So getting started, definitely sign into your account, and once you get inside, you might see it load up with all the 3D designs. That's what it does by default. Just come over here on the left task pane and click Circuits. In the circuit pane area, if you haven't got one started already, we're going to be starting our chaser circuit. So we're going to click on Create New Circuit. And when this loads up, I recommend immediately going to the top, clicking on the label, which is usually some crazy random name, and typing in your name and what you're making. And this is going to be a chaser. Great. In the right-hand task pane, you're going to scroll down till you find the Arduino Uno R3, and you're going to drag it out on the field. It looks good. It's nice and big, and you can make it bigger by just zooming in. The next thing we're going to need is our ever-friendly, present, and wonderful breadboard. While it's blue and selected, you want to rotate it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So that the column letters and the row numbers are clearly visible. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in our lights. They're the LEDs. You may need to scroll up to find them. And you just drag one out, put it in the middle. The nice thing about this Tinkercad system is that as soon as you hold your cursor over any one of the wires, the pins, it identifies that this is the anode, which is bent, and then this is the cathode. That's very important when wiring these circuits on the microcontrollers, because with a diode, electricity only goes through it one way. We're going to rotate this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to move it onto the board. Where is really not important. I mean, I could put it here if I wanted to, and then just run the wires from the Arduino right to the light. But I'm gonna put it in a certain pattern. Since we're building a chaser, we're gonna do it with about 7 lights because that's how many colors I have. So now after I have the first one selected and placed, I have the cathode in row 1 and I have the anode in row 2, and then I'm gonna skip row 3. And I'm going to do our shortcut Control C. And then I'm going to put my cursor over the spot I want to place it and Control V. And now I have immediately another light. Control V, I have another light. And I'm skipping a row, notice. V, I have a light. V, V. How many do I have here? And then one more, V. So that gives me 7 lights. And if you want to, you can come into each light here and you can change its color. So when you click on the lights, they have colors. They can be green. This could be yellow, etc., etc. Blue, white. And of course, our colors are, we have more on the real lights. So now wiring this up. Each one of these pins is a positive, and it needs to be going over to the anode of individual lights. And then as we program it, we tell the chip to turn on this one and then turn it off, and then turn on 12 and then turn it off, and then turn on 11 and turn it off. So, and that's really all that there is to this process. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring over our positive wires. Well, actually, before we do that, let's do our negatives first. Now with the negatives, I like using this long wire on the card that's right on the negative symbol. And I like on the bottom, we're gonna wire up all these negatives to the lights individual. So I'm gonna come to the bottom, and I'm gonna bring a wire, click, hold, you don't have to hold, and then come over here to your ground. So that's there. So I click again to put in a bend. I like bends. And then I click again to set that. Make your wire black. And that looks pretty good. All right. Now, one thing I like doing with these, just to cut down on the power going through the light, is to add a resistor. And so we're going to run the resistor from the cathode on the cathode row over to the main negative line to the ground. So that'll complete our circuit when we put in the positives, which we haven't done yet. So we're going to bring over our resistor, and we're going to rotate it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to then move it over here. Now make sure when you move your resistor on that it's connected to the minus long wire that'll go to the ground and to the cathode of the light. Has to be on the cathode, not on the anode. That's for the positive. Now, just like we did the lights, this is a simple copy and paste. So Control C, and then I just hold my cursor over where I want it to go, Control V, and it snaps right in there. Control V, snaps, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Beautiful. Now my negatives are all set. The last thing is just to run our positive through here, and then we just program the card, and we should have a fantastic chaser light to go. So let's start doing that. So I'm just going to go to 13. I'm going to start bringing it up. I like bending them. It just looks neater. Bend. And I'm going to bring it right over. Make sure you don't hit this row because that's the negative. We want to bring it right over to this short row of lights, which is the number 2, and that's where my anode is. Doesn't matter which pin you choose. I usually choose the first pin. And if you want, you can straighten that out a little better and change it to red. That way I know that it is a positive run line. I'm going to do the same with the rest. I'm going to go rather quickly, but I'm just going to hit each one of those and do the same thing for each of the following lights. And again, color. And if you have to go over your card, that's fine. Red will stand out nicely against the card too, so you can see where the wires are going. I try to line them up as best I can, and if it's not perfect, you can always adjust, and it gives you a nice guide too, so you can guide that out. And I'm going to be going down to pin 7, so that's going to be cool. And this takes a while, so be patient. But when you're done, the nice thing about Tinkercad is that it will run a full-scale simulation. So you know that if it's going to work on the simulator, it will definitely work on the card. And I'm just about finished here. And red is the last one. I'm all wired up and ready to go. Now you might start the simulation, and when you do, you're probably just going to see one light flash. Well, that's because you only have code for one light, and it's using the built-in. It says built-in LED. That's number 13. But we're not going to use that block. We're going to use the set the pin block, so we'll have that there. So I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to bring this one that's called set pin. And I'm going to set that to 13. And I'm going to go to Control, get a weight block. And I really recommend you putting this weight block down a bit, or your chaser won't run very fast. You'll have to wait 1 second for each light. I recommend half of a second, so I'm going to put 0.5. And then later, if you want to change it out and go to 0.25 or 0.1, you could do that, and then it'll chase really fast to the point of where it'll look like it's just on continuously. One more of these pins I'm just going to duplicate, and that's it. Now what's important to do here is, and some students miss this, is not only is it on high, but you need to turn the light off too. And it has to wait for half a second so you get that effect. Now the great thing about Tinkercad is I can come, right click on the top block, duplicate, and bring it down. All right, and right click, duplicate, and bring it down. I'm paying attention to my pairs because I need 7 pairs. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 pairs, so I need 3 more pairs. And to do that, I'm going to go to where I see 3. So 1, 2, 3 pairs. So if I duplicate this, and then I bring it all the way down to the bottom, then I'll have all 4 of my pairs. Now the last thing to do is to renumber these so that it fires a positive shot of electricity out of that port. So I got 12, 11, And I'm going to go to 10. Just a matter of going through these each time. And then 9, 8. Almost done. Oh, I missed something here. Hold on. I doubled up on something. Oh, there it is. There's 10. This should be 10. This should be 9. You just had to pay attention to your pairings here. 8. I think I caught up here. So I'm going to go 7, and I'm done. When you're finished, run your simulation and see if it works. So I'm just going to start the simulation, and you should see them fire every half second all the way down the line, and it's ready to go. So have that, and it should start over again. This automatically loops because it's inside of a loop block to begin with. Now, that doesn't get it to the card, so let's work that last piece to the card. So stop your simulation. Go to your blocks. It says blocks. Drop the arrow and go to blocks and text. This is what the Arduino likes to see. It wants the C code for that. So I'm going to highlight everything here. The best way to do that is just do Control A in that box. Now go on your desktop and find the Arduino program, which usually has the infinity sign. Double click on it and have it load up. And there it is. Now, before you paste everything in here and run it, you have to check your tools and go to your board and make sure that the COM has got a check mark next to it. That means it's talking directly to the card on the wire, so that's important. Then you can come in here, Control V to paste it. Maybe I didn't get it. Let me grab it again here. Control A, Control C to copy. Come back over to your Arduino program, and then Control A, and then Control V to paste. Make sure your code is real tight. It should start with the void setup, and then go to void loop, and that's it. When you're done, just click on upload, and it might ask you to save it. That's fine. And then it's going to go right to the card. Let's see if it works. Excellent. It says done uploading, and this is all white. If this turns orange, that means there's a problem. So this is ready to go. Well, thank you very much. I hope this video helped, and have fun.